Okay, so I was just reading an article, yeah, in the Sun news, right? And so it says families agony, Rowley Regis attack. So this is a place in Midlands called Rowley Regis. I've never heard it before, even though I've got family in the Midlands. I'm not too sure where that is. I might be pronouncing it wrong. So if there's anybody out there who's from this particular place in the Midlands called Rowley Regis, um, yeah, let me know if I've pronounced it wrong. I'm sorry if I have. But it says families agony, Rowley Regis or Regis attack. Okay, Gran 85. So they're basically saying it's a grandma, or I think it did mention she was a great grandmother as well. So it says Gran 85 mauled to death by neighbors' dogs. Wow, that's crazy. And so it says, yeah, a great gran was today named as the woman killed by her neighbor's dogs, as her heartbroken family said, we will miss her dearly. So her name is Lucille Downer. It says Lucille Downer, aged 85, was dragged around her garden by two pit bull type dogs. Said yesterday after they rushed in. So this happened yesterday after they rushed in through a hole in the fence of her home. Okay, they rushed through a hole in a fence of her home. I don't know what they mean by that. I don't know if they mean the front gate, the back gate. I don't know, but yeah, that's crazy. So her name's Lucille Downer, 85. She is. Wow, this is crazy. Um, Lucille has been named as the victim of a horrifying dog attack. It's crazy. And so there's a statement. It says in a statement, her family said Lucille was a mother, grandmother, and a great grandmother who spent her working years as a cook at Bromford House Care Home in West Bromwich. Okay, so it's in West Bromwich in the West Midlands. Um, so it says Lucille was born in Jamaica and immigrated to the UK in her early 20s. Since arriving in the UK, Rowley Regis has always been her home. Okay, and her family will miss her dearly. It says locals said the gran who suffered with dementia, okay, so she had dementia, was just days away from her 86th birthday on Wednesday. They said she lived alone after losing her husband, but her daughter, who lives opposite, was always on hand to help out. Crazy. So imagine, can you imagine that? Your grandmother or granddad, elderly people who are mauled to death by dogs. That is the way they died. Can you imagine how crazy that is? And you hear this often, you hear toddlers dying because a dog mauled them to death. Middle-aged people, elderly. You hear all sorts of people being killed by dogs, and it's usually pit bulls. So it said one neighbor said she was a lovely lady. She used to work in a factory before retiring and had lived there for 50 years or more. We hadn't seen her much in her past year because of COVID restrictions. But what's happened has shocked everyone in the street. It was horrific. She has three children, two sons and a daughter, but one of her daughters sadly died from an asthma attack about 10 years ago. Another told the son the poor woman was dragged around the garden. Her injuries were on her neck. Her neck. Can you imagine? The dog's mauling her in her neck. Wow, this is crazy. And so it said they mauled her neck. It's just horrendous. The dogs managed to escape through into her garden or into her garden. Said a stunned neighbor added, apparently they went for her throat like a dog with a toy, or like a dog would do with a toy. Once it gets the neck, it's game over. Yeah. You see some people's hand when it's been mauled off and bitten up. Can you imagine a neck? So, anyways, it says, speaking at the press conference today, Superintendent Phil Asquith said our officers attended, by which point the dogs had returned through a hole in the fence to an adjacent property, and then unfortunately, despite the best efforts of medical professionals, that lady died at the scene. She died at the scene. That's crazy. At the scene. Not in hospital, not on the way to the hospital, at the scene. She died. It said police said the escaped dogs, or the dogs that escaped, were tranquilized. Sorry, my reading's not too great. Were tranquilized, but did not reveal whether the animals will be destroyed. It's just horrific what's happened, and we're so shocked. If she's an elderly lady, they're so shocked. She's an old or elderly lady in her 80s. She would have stood no chance. So they're saying obviously she's old. She's in her 80s. There's no way that she would, stand a chance with these crazy dogs. You know what I mean? So it's mad when you think about it. These situations happen, and I don't know what to say, but condolences to the family. It's crazy because obviously she said she's from Jamaica, right? My grandparents are from Jamaica too, and I couldn't imagine this happening to my grandmother or grandfather who are still alive, and I'm grateful that they're still alive. But it's just a situation like this. You would expect maybe like your elderly grandparents or whatever to die of old age, right? She's got to this age where it just said that she was gonna turn 86 on Wednesday or something like that. She was gonna be 86, and look, this is the way she has died, by being mauled to death by two dogs, which is crazy. So it said an elderly neighbor who lives opposite the house said, I know she's an old lady like myself, and I know she's called Lucille and old. I never heard what has happened, but it's so horrible. I feel so terrible about it all. One person claimed they had seen the dogs being walked before and seemed to be well behaved. Okay. A neighbor who didn't want to be named added, we just came around 4 p.m. And there were just so many police cars and everything blocked the road. We never heard anything that happened, and I'm not too sure who actually lives there, but I do know that the neighbor had two dogs which lived at their address. It's just a terrible thing that's happened. So it seems as if people are saying they don't really know the person who has the two dogs, which I find strange. It says suspect arrested. Another neighbor said, I think from what I have heard, there was a broken fence and they escaped through to there and mauled her to death. Okay. That's crazy. It's just horrible what happened. I didn't know her personally, but it's terrible. A 43-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of being the person in charge of the dog, dangerously out of control, and death is caused. He has been bailed pending further injuries after being quizzed by cops. The two dogs have been seized and will be examined to find out what breed they are. That's just mental, you know what I mean? That's just crazy. And I'm just looking at the pictures now, like they're, it's got police taking I don't know what they got there. It's just crazy. There's many pictures here, but yeah, let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. It's just crazy. If you have dogs, if you're a person who watches this, who's seen this video, is watching right now, right, and you have dogs, please train your dog well. Train your dog well. You know why some of these dogs are savages, and obviously I don't know what the owners like of these two crazy dogs, right? Because yes, there can be some crazy dogs which you might have trained them well, but they've just somehow just gone crazy and just mauled a person to death or just attacked someone, right? But in most cases, you will find that a lot of these crazy dogs, the reason why they're crazy is because the owners train them in the wrong way. They train them to attack people. They'll maybe take them out for a walk and says, look at this person. Like, do you get what I mean? I remember being young and, you know, you see like guys who will have dogs who live around the area and all they're doing is just like, what's that? What's that? What's that? Like, to kind of get that dog prepared to attack someone if need be. So, for example, if some of these guys, they'll own dogs and they might have enemies or people who they don't like, or just in case someone tries to attack them, they get the dog ready to attack them. Understand? So I don't think you have to train a dog to be like that at all. At the end of the day, if you're being attacked, you own a dog, right? And someone attacks you, your dog's gonna react in a certain way because it's like it knows like I'm gonna defend my owner kind of thing. So no matter what, your dog's gonna defend you. But I don't think you have to train it to attack people. Otherwise, it's gonna think it can just attack anyone. Hence why this dog's gonna attack the old lady. I don't know if that was the situation. I don't know if that's the reason why the dog attacked the lady. But you know, it's crazy. All I can say is my condolences, and it's just messed up, man. Like, I feel angry at the owner. I don't even know who the owner is. I feel angry towards these dogs. These kind of things make me not want to trust any type of dogs. I know I shouldn't think like that, but when you hear these things, you just think to yourself, oh, this is crazy. Like, I'm worried about dogs as it is. Like, I'm not really a dog person. Do you get what I mean? But I know there's a lot of people out there who own dogs, and I'm sure that they would feel angry about this situation. Regardless if they have a dog and they love dogs and whatnot, they'll be very angry. And they should be, right? So I think there should be some type of awareness, should be more training. I feel like if you're going to buy a dog or you're going to get a dog, you should be trained how to train that dog. Because some people get dogs and they just think like, they just train it in their own way, and it's just, do you get what I mean? Like, if you think about it, there's people who have kids, right? And there's like little groups for mother care groups. I don't know what they call them, but to teach mothers how to be mothers and to look after babies and how to change them and do this and do that. They should do the same with pets, with dogs. Maybe they do, but I had never heard of that. And I think they should, if there ain't no such thing of that, someone needs to bring that, someone needs to make that happen. Someone needs to start some type of program for people who own dogs, and they need to teach them how to look after dogs and how to train them, how to, And like I said, obviously there's some crazy dogs anyway. Regardless if you train them well or not, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just one of them things that we have to be careful of. Just, be careful. That's all I'm saying, because there's dogs out there, or there's owners who don't look after their dogs properly and they just go wild. Or, like I said, sometimes it could be a random thing. So don't go up to dogs thinking like all dogs are cool and then you're trying to stroke it and whatnot. Because as we know, from what we know right now, like the lady didn't try to stroke the dog or anything like that. She didn't go out of her way to put her hand on the dog and then the dog just randomly attacked her. None of that. She was minding her own business and the dog come and attacked her. I think there was 2 dogs, right? So it's just crazy. But I want to know what everyone's thoughts is on this. I'm going to be talking about more stuff to do with the news, what's going on around the world. Obviously, you know that I do, basically I talk about the news and react to the news with my mum every 2 weeks. But there's going to be a segment, or I don't know if you want to call it a series or something, where it's just me talking about what's going on in the news, and that's going to be a daily thing. So yeah, subscribe, and again, condolences to the family of the lady. So everybody take care, and subscribe.